Arsenal Studio B in Chandler, Arizona, this is MayaCast. Welcome to another edition of MayaCast. I'm your host, Tom Shadle.
And I'm your host, Kip Parcell.
I'm your co-host, Sterling.
Oh, we're using our made-up names? My name's Willett.
And this is episode 198 for Friday, September 14th, 2018. Epic Draft Battles of History. Coming up on today's show, it will be the final part of our three-part series on the Fantasy Infinity Draft. We drafted our units, we made lists out of them, and then we fought some battles, and this week we're going to tell you about those games that we played and what missions we randomly rolled on the Joint Operations chart. But first, there is an event to announce, and it is called an Infinity Halloween. And this is happening in Humboldt, in Northern California. I guess the county is Humboldt, the city is Eureka. Whatever. It's an Infinity Halloween in Northern California. It's a 3-round, 300-point limited insertion tournament with Soldiers of Fortune. We've got room for 10 players, maybe 12, and it's on Sunday, October 28th from 10 to 6. The entry fee is $10. $7 out of your $10 will be donated to the Infinity Humboldt group to help support their struggling to reign situation. There are a number of prizes, thanks to some super sweet volunteers, and the whole event is Halloween-themed and going to be a blast. You can check out their group, Infinity Humboldt, on Facebook. And then we will put a link to the event in the show notes, along with the links to all the other events that we have previously announced that are still upcoming. So you can check out the show notes on MayaCast.com and see if there's one happening near you that you can attend. So, Kit, baby good?
Baby is good. She's actually starting to smile at me now, which is adorable because I wake her up in the morning and I'm like, "Hey, Kalani," and instead of just going, "Meh," she goes, and smiles. It's awesome.
Getting any sleep?
A little bit.
Willett, baby's good?
Yep, they're good. Riker is, actually Riker's evil. He knows he is. Like, you never know if he's going to hug you or punch you. Or both. He's like, oh, yeah. And Rowan, of course, is just adorable as always.
Sterling, how's Bart?
Oh, he's great. He actually just turned 2.
Aw.
We took him to Starbucks. He got a peppuccino. It was adorable.
I saw those pictures. It was cute.
All right, well, let us get into these battle reports of our games that we played with our Infinity Draft lists.
Yeah, we just got our asses kicked.
Requesting evac. Repeat, requesting evac.
Control systems report considerable damage and casualties.
You rolled a crit?
Mission debrief. So we made our lists, we checked them twice, we fed our 4 names into random.org and got each other paired for round 1, and it just so happened that Tom and Kip were starting off round 1, Sterling and Willett were going to play round 2, and then for round 2, we would follow the ITS, tournament point, objective point, victory point, to see who got paired, and then for round 3, whoever didn't play each other would play the final game. And it turns out that in round 3, it was both. The people that didn't play each other had to play each other, and it was in order of ITS rankings also. So that worked out.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, totally not rigged.
And since there are 12 joint operation missions, we rolled a D12. And we rolled for our first mission, highly classified.
Yay.
Yeah.
So in round 1, I played... And see, the best part of tonight is that I have a crap memory, right? So that means that I'm going to let you guys talk because I'm not going to remember our games. And I'm going to be like, yeah, go ahead. Tell them about our game, Kip.
So, yeah. Highly classified. And the funny thing is I got psyched out by Tom before we even hit the table because I was like, oh, highly classified. Oh, he's going to have like 17 to 18 orders. I have to take my 15 order list. I didn't even pay attention to what classifieds we drew, which was HVT kidnapping. I had 0 veteran or elite troops in my entire army lists, all 3. So that was bad. We also had sabotage. We had telemetry. And then coup de grace was the 4 that we drew.
You could do that one.
The only ones I could do was telemetry and coup de grace. So I was like, crap, I can't HVT. Oh, man, I didn't take a list with a Sophatect in it. And then I didn't think to switch my list because we choose after they're drawn. So if you want to know, you can now start calling me Peaky Blinders because one track mind. Luckily, data scan was my special one that I drew, which hacker heavy. So that was awesome, right? So yeah, we rolled. I won. Went first. Actually crit on that new pink dice that just continually rolls 16s, which for Saladin...
Pulpy dice.
Yeah, Pulpy dice is like a 16 and a 14 madness. I've crit initiative rolls 5 out of the last
many times.
6 times I've rolled with it. It's ridiculous. So I went first. The only time it didn't work was against Willett. We'll get to that later. So... Tom makes me deploy first. I use the Strategos to hold back. I held back the Pathfinder, and then I held back Saladin. But then I forgot.
I held back nothing.
Yeah, Tom didn't hold. He had to deploy everything, and then my dumbass. Okay, remember when we talked last week about why I wanted Saladin and why he's really good when you have a total reaction HMG.
Because you can just hack through his own repeater.
Yeah, because he's a repeater.
Marksman? Yeah.
So I put the Shukra next to the HMG and left Saladin by himself on a tall building with a volunteer to cover his back. And then, like, 3 orders in, went, what am I thinking? I'm not. So, yeah, Tom definitely beat me on the mental game and then proceeded to outplay me, which I just further made mistakes. So sent my McCall after... He only had 2 models with decharges on the board that I knew of, and they were the Ermendine Bros. So I was like, I want to kill those things because then I'm going to... I want to deny him the classifieds that I can't do. So that's kind of what I was thinking. I want to put him in Lost Lieutenant. Joan is hiding behind a building where I'm like, Mary Problems is 4 deployed on the top of this building. I know if I can move to the front of that building, I can shoot a pitcher in good range, and it should be within 8 inches of where Joan's deployed. And then I isolate the F out of her so that he's Lost Lieutenant his first turn, then loses inspiring leadership. So that whole thing goes to crap. So that's my plan. So I send them a call up because he's impetuous. And I try to take a magical pistol shot at the Ermendino, who fails his roll and I fail my roll. So I was like, Susan, go, Spitfire, run, roll up there.
The Sujian.
Yeah, Sujan, sorry. I'm using... No, we're not using our fake names. We call her Susan here. So I send Sujan up, and I'm like, I'm going to shoot you 4 times, Tom. I think I was in good range. Might have been bad range. That's the one thing I can't remember. No, I think I needed 10s. I think I was in the -3 range. So I'm like, I need 10s. And you're like, I need a 16 to throw smoke.
Yep.
And you rolled like a 6. And I was like, yeah. And I rolled 2 1s and 2 2s. Oh. And I was like, yeah, this sucks. So then I he had some antipodes to one side too that I was like, hey, on my attack run, because my main plan was to try to reveal a couple camo tokens that were on some roofs and then take out his mutts. But on the way there with Sujan, I wanted to try to discover the antipodes, which luckily I did on one. And I'm like, sweet. And I can send the Pathfinder up there because it's in the second group. But then I just got scared. I saw these camo tokens. I know he has intruders. So I think I'm going to go and try to make him pop out with my Sujan, and I'm going to be in good range. I have 4 dice, and I wasted 5 orders before I caused 1 wound. in my main order pool. Then
So you're saying your plan worked?
No, it
You
was
eventually caused the
horrible.
wound, which is what your plan was.
Yeah, but you know what I should have done? Because right below where I could do one move, pop a Fast Panda who's in the secondary group that has like nice little 5 order pool of their own that hasn't done anything yet.
Yeah.
Is an interventor. And that Fast Panda could have popped out right in front of the building where nothing can see it yet, and you can't ARO it.
Nope.
So, me thinking it's an intruder, what would have been a better plan?
White noise.
Yes! Guess what I never did?
White noise.
It's so stupid. I didn't even think about that till after the game was over. So yeah, I waste like 5 orders, right? So I have like 3 orders left. Because I did, I think I only had 3 orders left. Because I had to shoot 2 pitchers and then use Merry Problems.
Right, because
So,
you
like,
failed the first pitcher shot.
Yeah, so I moved up, shot a pitcher, and I missed. So then I chose a spot a little bit further that was still within 16, and I nailed it. So then I'm like, I only have 1 shot with Merry Problems to try to isolate Joan. And I pass. I win the whip roll. And he rolled like an 18.
No, you did it like 4 times in a row.
That was with the interventor, with the other 4 order. So I went to the secondary group. That's why I said this is where I screwed up. So, did Merry Problems, failed. I'm like, all right, let's go to the secondary order group. Because remember, I only got 1 order with my stupid Pathfinder after that. Totally just falling apart over here. So then I tried 3 more times with the interventor. I think I failed 1 and passed 2, but he passed all
You either
the BTS.
failed the roll, I beat you with my reset, or
Yeah.
I passed my BTS, and Joan was not isolated by the end of your turn 1, which was your entire goal.
And I literally spent 5 orders on the intruder and then 5 orders on the damn interventor. And then I spent my last order in that group because I was like, F it, I got to go try to kill these anapodes to move up and shoot the anapode with my dumb Pathfinder, which I didn't even get room. So I shot the mutt who then killed both of them with a chain rifle.
Well,
Wow.
So it was bad.
but I spent my first turn. You spent your first turn trying to isolate Joan to cause me problems.
yes.
I spent my first turn to go do objectives because we were playing highly classified, not kill your friends. So
But you can do all 4 and I can't, so I needed to try to get you to where you couldn't do the 2 that I couldn't do.
with the impetuous orders on the 4 Gazi-Mudawia and the 2 Armandinos, they all move up, and Mudawia isolated Susan with a jammer
Yep.
because you brought her right up close, little kitty cat.
Oh yeah.
So we isolate the kitty cat.
So dumb.
Armandino had a nice, easy walk up to. There was a 3-story building in the middle of the table, just over the halfway line. That I didn't even try for subterfuge. I took my phone out, took a picture of the building, and then winked at Kip. And he
Yeah.
winked back. Right? Like, that's going to be my sabotage
Yeah.
target. So I walked up to the big, bright yellow building with the Armandino. He put on the decharges. He blew up the building. There's one.
So I was trying to kill that son of a gun.
Yeah, the Guilang, he forward observed the McCall,
Yeah.
so I got the telemetry. Mm-hmm. Then later in the game, he tried to get cute, and he was going to go. So Merry Problems is new, and I didn't ask the appropriate questions before acting, so I just went over because he was on a taller building.
Yeah.
He could see down to where Merry Problems was. Like, I'm just going to go murder her with Gabi rifle. Because I got camo. She's a hacker. She probably can't shoot real good. Didn't know she had ODD,
Yeah.
And a zapper.
right? And so, yeah. Oh, yeah, you zapped him, huh?
Yeah, I isolated.
Got a
A
little,
little tiny template.
got a little too close to where I could see down on top of her and failed to kill her. Was not prepared for the ODD. Should have asked the question first. But yeah, and then what were the other objectives?
We had coup de grace, which you came and decharged Sujan with the other Irmandino. Decharged him, and it worked. And since he goes double unconscious, I like that I keep saying he, even though it's we keep saying Susan. So
I kept saying she because everybody knows cats are girls and
Oh,
dogs
that's
are
right.
boys.
Gata. So, yeah, you decharged it. Sujan went down, coup de grace, so you got that one. I ended up getting I ended up getting telemetry and data scan. No, I only got data scan. How many points did I have in there? I don't remember. Our
We had
points.
data scan?
I did.
Oh, that was your secret one.
Yeah, because remember I popped my repeater out and I was data scanning your doodads sitting there. I think that might have been the only one I got, honestly. I don't think I got any of the main ones.
Because I got heal somebody.
Yep.
And so I was able
Gotta heal somebody.
Oh, wow. So, yeah.
No, you got all 4 and then...
And my secret.
Yeah, because the other one on the HVT kidnapping at the very end of the game, because at this point, like, my TRO bot went down to an intruder HMG. I did successfully Hunzakut shotgun the Anapodes, and they failed their whip roll and ran away, which that was fun, so I never had to deal with that.
They did. They ran right off the corner of the building. Table.
So, I mean, all of our fights were right in that center over in the corner, basically. And then you popped, because I did drop the meteors on and isolated Joan turn 2. Mm-hmm. So you did have one turn of Lost Lieutenant, and that was just out of spite.
Yeah.
And that meteors on was a boss, because he flash pulse.
Oh, I shot him so many times and he just lived.
Flash pulse the intruder, then killed the intruder, then killed the controller. As I was trying to make my way to forward observe something, but then I couldn't do that. But yeah, you went over and with your newly formed lieutenant of Akumo Tail, went over and popped up the Mutawiya that just went unconscious. No, just the Anapode that went unconscious. Mutawiya died to fire.
Right, so the rest
So
of
you
the
ran over there, yeah.
the rest of the Anapode packs retreated off the table except for the unconscious one. Mm-hmm. So I went and healed him real quick.
That was a secret. And I was like, damn it. But then he goes, oh, and
But you didn't know it was my lieutenant.
no.
But you still came right at it because, again, out of spite, not being able to do anything, you just, what can I get to kill? Mm-hmm. And she was closest to you. And I'm like, he doesn't know that's my lieutenant. He's headed right for her.
Yeah.
But she lived.
She did. And then to add insult to injury, you're like, well, I got all of them except for HVT kidnapping. And I was like, yeah. So we start saying, you're like, so I'm going to spin an order off the table and drop a Rajik.
Yep.
I'm going to take that Go-Go Rally model and haul ass. So, oh, yeah, it was bad.
But yeah, I think that was on the...
I was on the very last turn.
Okay, yeah. And because I rolled to drop him in, right?
Yeah, because I had nothing there left that could see.
To get it right next to it, because, yeah.
Because I had dropped the Shukra and ran up to go and try to shoot your things. Cause
Whatever was left.
Yeah, because he was my...
But yeah,
I
so
figured.
at the end of the game, I had all of them. Kip did not. It was a 10-3.
So I did get telemetry. Because I got my special, and then I got one
more.
Yeah, I thought that I did get telemetry with my
10-3.
meteors on.
I had 181 left. Kip had 54. Mm-hmm. And yeah, so up next in the epic draft battles of history, Willett versus Sterling.
So for our highly classified game, we ended up with HVT kidnapping, sabotage, HVT inoculation, and the one where you have to just doctor somebody up. I can never remember the name of it.
Test drug, something, experimental drug.
There you
drug.
go.
So we got those, and I took my 2 Ghulam Chasseur with combined list, and I ended up going first. So
I took my specialized skill set list. I was like, yeah, this is what this is for. All the one that has all the specialists in it.
yeah, we both brought the kitchen sink versions. My reserve model at the end of it all was the Speculo.
Yes.
Because you had set up in the far corner this insane little bunker of a Rasail with his Choxa, with a heavy rocket launcher proxy, with the Galrail sniper,
Yes.
with the Celestial Guard smoke thrower,
Yes.
and symbiomates on everything that was in that corner that could take them.
Yes.
Yeah. And then just Quang Shi throughout the middle of his board. So the Speculo, of course, goes right outside his deployment zone in front of that whole bunker. Mm-hmm. And then I realized that the only thing it's going to do is hunt a Galrail for turn 1. Because I couldn't get an easy kill off on that Rasail.
Yes. Who was my lieutenant?
Who was your lieutenant? That was easy to see. But I knew it wouldn't matter because you still had the Kael'tar way on the other side where I could not get to it.
Yes.
So I think I actually started off the whole turn with something that Kip never did, which was white noise. I used Kurnau's white noise, threw it in front of my little Q drone.
Yes.
E drone put marksmanship on the Q drone. Q drone walks forward because I think the only person who could possibly see him is the Gal Rail, and I am quickly proven wrong by the Mark IV heavy rocket launcher taking shots at him while I'm shooting through the white noise at the Gal Rail. I down the Mark IV from the projectile blast from the plasma,
Yes.
but the Gal Rail just pops a symbiote and is fine.
Yes.
Yeah, that was fun.
And I believe that the Mark IV took out.
Oh yeah,
Q
no,
drone.
the Q drone got nuked.
Yeah.
There was nothing stopping that at that point. Just ended up unconscious, but I didn't draft an engineer, so I couldn't do anything. And then the rest of my turn one was just run up, kill the Celestial Guard, kill the Gal Rail, and I was pretty much out of orders at that point. Like,
Yep.
thankfully, Bit had used her mind layer with her deployable repeaters to put one to where I could cover my HVT's little area with.
Yeah, there was kind of like this center spot where I ended up putting a Moran in this building,
Yep.
and you put your Imatron on the ladder.
Yeah, just shy of the ladder, and he landed. So you'd have to kill the Imatron to get through.
Yeah,
the
so my Moran was
HVT.
basically stuck on this building. He couldn't go down the ladder if he wanted to.
Yeah, and that was pretty much my whole turn one. Why don't you go with your counter thrust?
Yeah. So, I'm sitting here like on the ropes reeling from this really scary speculo, and I tried using the impetuous orders of the Quang Shi to chain rifle her. That didn't work. Then I ended up using my forward observer proxy. I believe that's Mark V.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm getting pretty good at those. And so I ended up walking him up and submachine gunning once or twice the speculo.
Yeah.
It took some time, but she eventually went unconscious. And that's when I said to myself, oh, she has regeneration?
Yeah, she has auto med kit, yeah.
Oh, and I was like, oh, that thing can't stay alive. You got to kill it. And so I just shot it and killed her dead. And I felt so proud. And then I looked at my secret classified, which was extreme prejudice.
Yep.
And I was just like, well, you're an idiot. So I just cheated myself out of a very easy classified right there, which would have accomplished my goal anyways.
Yeah, we had the whole incident with the Yuan-Yans as well for that turn.
Oh, yes. I walked Wan-Wans on the side, and they went after people in the back. I think I took...
Yeah, you chased after Kurnau.
Yeah.
You killed Kiss.
Right.
But then the Yan-Yans just died, and
Yes.
Kurnau was able to dodge with his hyperdynamics and get a line on the other Yan-Yan, who
Yes.
then didn't do anything the rest of the turn because he was scared of getting plasmid.
Yeah. Yeah, the Wan-Wans did not get as much as I wanted. The interesting thing about this experiment is that, especially in my game against Sterling, I felt like when you're walking down the stairs and you have like a bunch of stuff, like a big teetering tower of things, and then they start to wobble a little bit, and then suddenly they start dropping, and you start catching some of them, and you're bouncing them up in the air, and you're like, oh no, and you're falling down the stairs at the same time, and you're trying to juggle all this stuff on the stairs. And that's exactly what my game felt like with Sterling. So that's why I made that dumb, silly mistake. Then you ended up getting sabotage.
Yep, I got sabotage because I had Kurnau now in line to run with it. No one could see him right up to a building and plant detonate, and it was good.
The other one you got was during my previous turn. I was able to hack Bit with the Danavis hacker.
Yeah, with Maestro, which just knocked her unconscious right
And
away.
then-
Yeah, and then I had a Gulam Doctor within one order, able to just run up. I had to maneuver a bit and kill your TR bot before that could happen. So I got to use the Lieutenant order on my Silhouette 6 camo or TO camo marker. So, and a thematic assault hacker or regular hacker popped out and got to shoot it. And that's when he found out that like we were within 16. I had cover TO, and the TR bot got very sad.
Yep.
Because it couldn't hit.
It could not hit, and so the thematic just nuked it. And yeah, it was. And then I had Kurnau in suppressive fire too. I had moved Kurnau up next to where all the Quang Shi were going to come barreling round the corner after they had tried to kill the Speculo, and I put him and like an E drone and the Gulam FO all into suppressive fire.
Yeah.
I was just like, this is the moment where he just runs around with things and gets stuff done.
Now, that's absolutely true. And when it happening, picture in your mind's eye, listener. I have this building that had a bunch of corpses up in it. Okay, they're all unconscious. And that's where my forward observer was. And then there's this big long lane. And on that lane was Kurnow, also a chasseur.
That's right. The chasseur did run up and drop some mines.
I spent a lot of time dealing with that chasseur. And, I was actually so impressed by the chasseur because I tried to like flamethrower it and all sorts of things like that. And I was so impressed by it. And weeks ago when I first started thinking about this, I wanted to make the French Foreign Legion army instead of something else. But I said, well, to do that, you need a French model. And I couldn't bring myself to get anything.
to take a French model.
I was going to say, what was her name?
Yeah. I just couldn't get myself to take anything for that.
Angelique.
Angelique.
Well played.
Is that from Legionnaire with Jean-Claude Van Damme?
You just need to
I don't even remember.
I was trying to think of a French name. You said you need to take a French model. I'm like, there it is. There it is.
So what is happening is I was just so impressed. It was like at the end of The Hobbit and I was Thorin. I've never been so wrong in my whole life. Then I doubted the chasseur. It was amazing. So in the picture, there's the big building, this big open lane. There's Kurnow in perfect range, in suppressive, and then there's this other building. Okay, so my Chaxa's on the far end of the table next to the reaction zond. My whole goal here was like, I'll just engineer it back. And then Dr. Worm, I'm like, I also need to go get sabotage. So I spent all these orders walking them past each other. Dr. Worm is walking towards his building. The Chaxo nurse is trying to get over to the giant building of corpses, the mortuary. And I just couldn't. I ended up not being able to like cross the path. I just felt like if I just walk this Chax out, he's just going to get smoked. He wasn't even like the 6'4" one to do like some sort of like cautious move or anything.
Yep.
So I basically was stopped there and couldn't move any further. Like Sterling had successfully stopped me. Meanwhile, Dr. Worm spent all his orders walking up to his building, planting his decharges and detonating them.
Yep.
So I was able to get one from that. And then it was your turn.
Yeah, and my turn too really was just try to solidify everything and kill that damn Danvas, which I don't think I ever actually succeeded. I just gave
she
up.
survived.
I just gave up on it eventually because I was just within range of the Moran's repeater, so I started hacking with Bit, and like I wasn't losing the rolls, but then we were realizing as we sit there, it's like she's getting she just is so hard to kill when you don't have a whip that can actually beat her, because every time she tries to hack back, she just does Maestro. Yeah, just +3 to her, -3 to you. She's on 18s, you're on 10s for Bit, and I was just like, eventually I got tired of pissing in the wind, and I was just like, I'm not going to worry about this, and just started moving some more pieces around. I think the Anathematic then went and killed Dr. Worm.
Yes.
Turned back around, killed a Guangxi who was dangerously close to the HVT on one of his orders.
Yeah.
And then he moved away, thankfully, and I was able to just kill him without remorse. And yeah, I didn't do much else that turn.
That was also the Guangxi during my turn that I tried to toss to you in the hopes that you would shoot it and make it go dogged. And then I would try to use the Chaxa that wasn't doing anything. He was relatively close at that point, and I was going to toss him up there to go doctor this dogged Guangxi, right? But what ended up happening was you shot at it, and I'm like, perfect. And I roll my armor save, 20. Are you kidding me? The one time I want to fail an armor save, I roll an amazing roll.
I had a question for you.
Yeah.
Because you were saying that you were going after the Danaves with Bit and Kiss.
Yeah.
Or with Bit, because
Yeah.
Kiss is just a thing. Did you not either use Kiss as your repeater or shoot a pitcher by there so that now the Danaves is going through?
No, the
a
Danavas
repeater?
was at the far end of the table, and there was no way I was getting to her at all. Bit only ever moved up to where my HVT was, which was 4.5 inches straight forward from where she started. And just happened to be inside the range to tag the
Of a
Moran's
Moran.
repeater.
So you were in
couldn't-
her repeater
I was in her
range.
repeater range, which didn't matter for me because
Yeah.
I didn't
I was
have
just
to worry
wondering
about
where
that.
she was at because, like, in that situation, like with Bit, you want to just shoot a repeater over there and
Yeah,
hack yours. So now
ideally-
you're plus your BTS.
Ideally,
she's
I
negative
would
3.
have, but the issue was just that there were so many buildings between me and her, and by that point, I was already in her repeater range. So anything I do, I'm just gonna have to respond with hacking.
Yeah.
And my list, like, I had lost the Q drone, the Ichdrons had started going down by this point, and it was just a matter of like, I don't want to worry anymore about like spending orders frivolously on her. I'm just going to try and secure what I have because I was in the lead at that point.
That's
Yeah.
smart.
So-
you shouldn't. How would you say frivolously waste orders?
Frivolously waste orders.
Yeah.
Not to
you,
be confused with fervishly.
you shouldn't do
wasting
that.
If you fervently waste orders, you waste all the orders.
Yeah,
you waste
yeah.
your opponent's orders
Yeah,
too.
You shouldn't do that.
Yeah, like my turn 2 and even my turn 3 really was just like I had managed 2 of the big classifieds. I think I had like data scan or something on my classified, which is I had like 5 hackers in the list.
Special one.
My special one. So yeah, it was just move Fire Piece X into a slightly better position than last turn. Put him in suppressive.
Yep.
And
Yep.
Kurnow never moved after he,
No, he
after
locked
he
that
went into
down.
suppressive. Like he ended up fighting your Rasail on your turn.
I think so, yes.
The Kwang Shi ended up like surviving but never moving after that point
No.
because we found out that they were just within his -3 band.
Yeah.
At that point, and I think that was the whole thing. But then you had a really awesome
Yeah.
play on your turn 3.
My
So why don't you
final
go
turn.
over that? Yeah.
So while Sterling was just solidifying his win, I was just like sweating bullets, and I'm like, oh my God, this is horrible. So I realized that I need to do my classified. Like, at the very least, I must accomplish this. And during all this chaos, I had the Mark II.
Yes.
Yeah, the Mark II TO assault hacker. Okay, so I had her hidden deployment center of the table, which was
Yep.
near your HVT.
Yeah, the anathematic walked right past her like 2 times when
Yeah.
it was running around murdering things.
And I just ignored that.
Yeah.
So I come up
In
with this.
retrospect, probably not the best call, but
I don't know. I mean, revealing wouldn't have done anything for me because how many wounds does the anathematic have?
he's a heavy infantry.
Yeah,
2 plus no wounding count.
Yeah.
maybe,
You can hack the crap out of him.
Yeah.
maybe. I think
Isolate.
I still think I did 8 for what I was planning.
Yeah, you did.
So I ended up walking a TO camo token up to this corner. So again, picture the building that has a corner. There's a ladder. A Moran is on top of this building. I believe his crazy quals were gone by that point.
No, his crazy koalas, only one of them ever ran up and went off, and
There
it
it
went
is.
off on the anathematic, but I just didn't care. I just kept moving and tanked the armor roll.
Yeah. So I walk up to the corner where there's the Imatron, there's Bit, and your
Gulam Doctor.
Gulam Doctor and an HVT.
Yep.
So my plan is to reveal, and I'm going to shoot the Imatron and blast these two, the Gulam and Bit.
And Bit. Yep.
But when I do this, I happen to be within that deployable repeater that Bit had mine laid earlier.
Yeah.
And I received 4 hacking AROs to my
Yep.
my hacker.
Yep. An E-drone, the anathematic, Bit, and Kurnow. So 2 killers, 1 regular EI, and another regular EI.
And at this point, I'm just like,
Yeah.
at this point, I'm just like,
Oy.
yep, I shoot. And so she ended up dying, obviously.
Yep. But she knocked everybody down.
But she did blast that. And then Bit was unconscious.
Yep.
And so I could finally use the Moran. Actually, at the end, I think I was all done. And I was like, oh, this is all over. But I still had
Yeah,
2 orders
I can't
left.
do anymore, but it was like, no, you had orders and your classified was extreme prejudice, and Bit was the only one
That was unconscious.
who had just fallen unconscious. Like the AI beacon was gone and the Gulam Doctor was dead.
Yes. And so what I ended up doing was spending those 2 orders for the Moran to walk up. and then walk down the ladder where he took a bunch of arrows.
With a suppressive fire Gulam, yeah.
Yeah. And he just coup de grace anyways and was able to get me that final one.
Yay.
But it was an incredibly tense game. Sterling's a very good player. It was really good. I enjoyed it a lot.
So Sterling won 6-3,
Something like that, yeah.
and it was 160 victory points to 100.
Yeah.
Very even.
Yeah, we were very close. There
Very
was
even
a lot,
numbers.
There were a lot of things that never even saw each other. Like, I think only one of your Guangxi actually died that whole game.
Most of my Guangxi, I didn't throw them out there to do anything. They just held back. I put them as far back as I could in all these games so that when they ran up, I would just be like, okay, you're not doing anything else today.
I will say everything that started in that giant bunker corner was dead by the end of the game. So
Yeah.
that was like my personal objective at that point.
Now, if I may, I forgot to mention one last thing. Before we all started these games, I had like a personal meltdown when I realized that I didn't bring anything. I brought the LF stuff because that's in my bag, and I'm like, oh, good. But I have 1/1s. I have all the Toha stuff that I drafted sitting in my little glass cabinet, and I somehow... My brain said, don't forget to grab those. My other side of the brain said, nah, I think I will. And I did forget. And so I'm just like panicking, thinking like this is the worst thing ever. I got to go home. I live like 45 minutes away from the game store. I'm thinking I'm going to drive home and drive back and hopefully get this done. It was so stressful. But one man came to my rescue. Tim. Tim is my hero.
That's what some call him.
I was about
That's
to say,
right.
does everyone call him that?
Just some people.
Just some.
Some call him Tim.
Oh, he saved my bacon, and he's my hero, and he's also an amazing player. And if you get a chance to play him, you'll really enjoy it because he's super nice. And he brought 6 bags of models, and it was like, okay, you need this, and you need this, you need this, and you need this.
All out of different bags.
Yes. Did you guys borrow stuff from Tim?
Yeah, that's why we were laughing because I totally left my models that I was painting. So my Sierra and my Pathfinder, I was like,
Yeah.
they're on my paint table because I was painting for my Drews. And he goes, don't worry about it, Kip. I gotcha.
Yeah.
In that Tim tone. I don't know how to do a Tim tone very well,
Yes.
but you know what I mean?
It was fairly accurate.
Yeah. It's just super jolly.
Yeah.
Great guy.
With
Saved
with
us.
that mustache of his.
I also borrowed Sterling's Dr. Worm, who is excellently painted.
Yep, that's courtesy of Tommy Back from Ultra Mega Studios.
Yeah, it looks
Hi,
super
Tommy.
awesome. Super
Tom
awesome.
Loaned me models as well. So I had McCall, Saladin,
I loaned you models as well.
Jean Zaban. Should I do it?
No.
Don't.
And then yes, you got me the
Yeah.
interventor. So
Okay.
we did some swipping and swapping, so we didn't have to do any proxying while we did this, which was I thought was cool because it
I
was hard
think-
enough to remember what the hell your stuff that did.
Yeah. Thankfully,
Goodness
I was able to
gracious.
play 100% WYSIWYG. So
Yeah.
I was really happy with myself.
Because it was mostly combined.
It was mostly combined, but come on, there was a chasseur in there.
This is true.
I own like 2.
Yeah.
That's too short. So after round 1, we had Tom with 3 tournament points, Sterling with 2 tournament points, and then Willett and Kip both had 0. Willett in third place by virtue, because they both had 3 objective points, by virtue of 100 victory points over 54, Willett over Kip, going into round 2. So Tom will play Sterling, Kip will play Willett, and we roll for the mission. Roll a d12 again, and if we get highly classified, we'll re-roll it, right? But we didn't roll highly classified and
Shaking my
re-roll
head
it.
right now.
Instead, we rolled rescue.
Yep.
So mad because I played you with the list that was best for rescue, and Willett and I didn't want to play any lists that we made more than once.
Yeah.
We made a pact that we wouldn't because I looked. I was like, dude, the list I just played against Tom would be so much better for this.
I think we made like a gentleman's agreement
We
about
did.
it.
We did.
And while part of me thinks, I think part of me would have taken the specialist list, I was like, I really want to play with Achilles and this Achilles list that I made. And so we both agreed that
Because
we
I wanted to
won't
play
play
with
that.
each list once, so I didn't want to play the tag mission last.
Yeah.
And
Wasted that one. on
No
the second one.
spoilers about that one.
and then so I actually played my Achilles list that has lots of multi-terrain. Achilles has multi-terrain. The Morans have multi-terrain. Who was the guy I ran up?
Don't know.
Someone
talking
else.
You had Brando.
Oh yeah, multi-terrain. So yeah, lots of my guys had multi-terrain. So I was like, oh, this is perfect. Mm-hmm. And what did you bring?
So I didn't want to bring the Caronted list. I had brought my tag list. So I had the overdrawn double rocket launcher. The only multi-terrain options that I had was a Hunzakut and a Oniwaban. Those are the only two multi-terrain that could actually grab civilians because I had remotes as well. I made mistakes against you two, though. Totally. I just had the blinders on my first two games. So in this one where I made the mistake, because you rolled and you wanted to go first.
I went first.
You're like, I'm going to go first. I'm like, sweet, deploy everything because I'm using my Strategos level 3. Deploy it all. And we both were playing limited insertion lists.
Yeah. I think mine was not quite. It's not in limited insertion. I had a second order group that had the 2 Morans, the 2 Wanwans.
That's right.
The first Wanwan, I walked him in because you had a John Bazan setup and your rocket launcher guy. Mm-hmm. And I set up my Mark IV rocket launcher, but he couldn't quite see your guys. Mm-hmm. So I ended up trying to sneak in Brando and failed.
Thank goodness.
So Brando
set up for something really fun.
That's right. So Brando set up over there. I ended up walking in a Wanwan who right next to the John Bazan and the tag, the overdrawn, who got an adhesive launcher.
Yeah, he rolled an adhesive launcher. He rolls right up onto my heavy infantry.
Yeah, right next to them. And so I'm just sitting here like, oh boy, did not adhesive launch the tag. I tried so hard.
And I was shooting rockets at him.
Yeah.
I was like, F you. I'm not shooting my heavy pistol.
But the Wanwan
fire
lasted a lot longer than expected. And I think he eventually did chain rifle the John Bazan.
Yeah, but regeneration, he got back up. Remember? Because he got up and then he smoked your little Quang Shi, but I'll get into that.
Oh, yeah. And
we did a lot of dancing around because neither of us lost a lot of stuff in this game.
No.
At all.
No, it was a lot of shooting at each other, trying. And then I believe... No, it wasn't until my second turn. So you go ahead. Tell us about your first turn.
Yeah, so what it was is like... So Willett deploys. I get to see where he deploys. He has Achilles. I know he's going to have you Achilles as his lieutenant. He's like, I'm going to try to superior infiltrate this camo token. And I'm like, fail. And he rolled a 20.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, the one time in any D20 game, natural 20s suck.
That's right.
So Brando goes all the way to my right, his left. And he put him all the way up at the very edge of the deployment zone. Mm-hmm. So once everybody's done, I deploy all my units. I have Mary Problems across from Achilles. I have the the Peacemaker across from Achilles, and then infiltrated up to 16 inches because there's an exclusion zone, the Hunzakut in camo state. Here's where I make my first mistake. So I have all my hacking support, repeaters and whatnot over there by Achilles. Didn't utilize Mary Problems for deployment in this mission because I was thinking exclusion zone that could have really helped later on because she has pictures. I'm an idiot. I had idiot blinders on today. On the other side where he had most of his firepower is where I put the overdrawn with the double rocket launcher because it's cheap. And then he was backed up by the Gian Bazan HMG. Saladin was chilling over there with them, like way up in the building. Like you got to go through a bunch of stuff to get to him. And then I'm doing my little hands. Since Brando failed his roll, and I see all these Quang Chi they're going to have to run through by Brando. Mm-hmm. And I'm looking where he put his Morans, because he placed his Morans where the crazy koalas could hit all of my dudes. My girl, actually all of them were women except for my 3 little pigs HVT.
Yes, so he places HVTs where they belong, his civilians, and I place my Morans right next to them with 4 crazy koalas right next to them.
So I'm kind of eyeballing this, right? And I'm like, man, I'm going to have some Quang Chi coming through here. At least one. Brand's going to be kind of a pain in the butt because he's got multi-terrain and run. And then, so I'm like, I'm going to make a roll. And I passed my superior infiltration roll, and I placed my Oniwaban hidden, like a millimeter from Brando. I like the Raisin brand better, but since he was right at the edge, I put it right 1 millimeter away because I knew when this Quang Shi came around, I was going to go nanopulsar and hit Brando with a nanopulsar while I hit the Quang Shi with the nanopulsar, and then hopefully take them out and survive with my ODD and dodging so that I can shoot all those crazy koalas off of his side of the table. So I landed that, and basically I was set up to hopefully survive enough turn 1 to where I can isolate Achilles and then run up and grab some people and then hopefully deny him his second turn so that I can go, because I don't have a lot of options, so I wanted to deny you a turn while I kind of caught up.
What happened with the Oniwaban?
So basically that's what happened. Quang Shi runs out, I freaking nanopulse, and I think you dodged.
Yeah.
And Quang Shi dodged, and I was like, dang. Well, Brando takes an armor roll. He passed an armor roll because I can't kill anything today.
Then I walked a Wan right at that border edge on the other side of Brando, so he was blocked from your Oniwaban, which was literally touching the table edge as well. So all three of us were on the table edge.
So we had a whole bunch of just like, we're going to fight right here.
Yeah, and then how did I end up... Was it the Wan who close combated you?
Yeah, but I won. So I killed the, and every time you say Wan today, I think that you have crab Wans because I just had crab wontons yesterday. But yeah, I won that, and then your Mark V shot at my Oniwaban, and that's when I dodged and then got out of line of fire of everybody. Because then I was right outside of Brando's line of fire. So I was like, sweet, I can survive. I didn't survive.
How did you die? How did the Oniwaban go down?
Brando moved and shot me with a combi rifle.
Oh, yeah.
Remember, because you moved up to the building and then blasted me with a combi rifle. I was like, damn it.
Yeah. So there's definitely a lot of orders trying to kill that.
Yeah.
Then...
so I did successfully waste some orders on your turn, so you couldn't go get any of the little dudes.
And then I think I also spent orders trying to adhesive your tag. I was not able to, on my first or second turn, to get... I think it was my first turn that I was not able to get anybody.
No, you didn't, because you were trying to deal with the Oniwaban, and then you were trying to adhesive launcher, and by that time you had like 2 or 3 orders left.
Yes.
Damn it.
And then it was your first turn. That was the McCall, right?
Yeah, because so McCall...
Before we begin...
Go ahead.
So on the far side, there's a McCall in cover, and I tried killing it with Achilles and failed. There was also a Peacemaker in the middle, but unbeknownst to Kip, but knownst to me, was a Mark II multi-sniper TO proxy. And so I had placed her in hidden deployment as well, but because of the exclusion zone, I basically placed her as in the best cover position I could. That was basically watching this whole line of civilians. There was like an entire fire line.
Yeah, you can see the whole way.
My whole goal here was that if something comes up to try to save a civilian, as soon as it walks up and gets near the civilian, I'm going to shoot it. And this suggests that my Morans have failed me, my crazy koalas have failed me, and now this is like my final, piece of defense here. So now continue with the story of the McCall.
But yeah, McCall goes hauling butt with its impetuous order because I'm like, hey, I'm going to go throw Eclipse Smoke so I can cover for my Peacemaker to go make a run at Achilles and knock these crazy koalas out because I want those crazy koalas gone. And didn't you reveal and shoot the crap out of McCall with that thing?
No, you were I was thinking to myself, I think Achilles was facing out. Achilles was in cover. And so he shot at the McCall.
He did move, yeah. So it was Achilles versus McCall.
He shot the McCall. You threw smoke successfully. I was sitting here like, no, I'm not going to reveal now for McCall. And so I held back. Continue.
Yeah, but so what I should have done was move the Peacemaker bot because I didn't. As soon as I had the smoke, I was like, ooh, I'm covered. But I was like, Achilles is back there all by his lonesome. I'm looking at things. I dropped the meteors on. And I landed with a 4. And I'm like, yeah! And Willett goes, okay, that crazy koala is going to go off. And I'm like, no, that's not within 8. and it was like 7.5 inches. I was like, boom, blew it up. I was like, oh no, because if I would have moved the Peacemaker, then I could have knocked out the koalas, and then if the Peacemaker doesn't survive, then drop the meteors on. Because again, I was playing like crap. So drop that, blows up. That's when I moved the Peacemaker up. Because I know that I did a flamethrower on McKilly. I keep saying McKilly's because of McCall. This is just dumb. Because I shot a... Didn't I hit both
It's a
the
new
sniper?
Caledonia.
I know, right?
McKillies. I'm McKillies of Clan Achilles.
Right? Because I know I shot a flamethrower at Achilles.
Yes, I believe I dodged.
And that's when you brought the sniper. When did the sniper pop up? Because I thought it was against my Peacemaker.
I thought a Moran shot. No, your Flamebot got shot by the heavy rocket launcher.
That's what it was. Because I was just making that to kill. And I just wanted to burn Achilles.
I believe you ran the Peacemaker up.
Yeah. No, I went straight at you because I want that as a repeater.
That's when we shot with everybody.
Yes. Because you popped up and I was like, damn it.
Yep.
Didn't even think about this.
Yep.
Should have waited.
Yep.
Yeah, because I hit Achilles, but he passed his armor. And here's the one thing. I couldn't remember. Did you have the regular Achilles or Hoplite?
Regular.
Totally screwed myself on that on turn 3, and we'll get to that.
Okay.
Because you got hit by my flamethrower, which means you were only mimetism, not -6 the rest of the game.
Really quick, I don't think that he made an armor save against
You did.
the flamethrower.
Because I didn't remember it until afterwards. I was like, oh
It's
my
okay.
gosh, I'm an idiot. Because I hit you with the flamethrower.
So what ends up happening, I now have burnt tokens now. So
Yeah, we should do that.
I'm going to start using those from here on out.
Just
made them.
bad.
So what ends up happening is that was kind of your turn.
Yeah, because then I tried to shoot your Mark 12 twice, and I either missed or he passed his armor rolls.
You mean the Mark IV?
Mark IV, whatever the rocket launcher guy. We were rockets on rockets. We were doing a Rocket the Raccoon turn. And then...
I don't think I put any wounds on the overdrawn.
No, we did nothing. Like, nothing got killed other than the Oniwaban, and... He basically was just like, okay, that sucked. Like we didn't, like I said, there was not a lot of killing. It was a whole lot of just dancing around each other.
Now, what is happening is after I had basically cleared up this whole path with the Peacemaker and the McCall dead, Achilles was able to run up, grab a civilian, and run back to his little perch back in his deployment zone. He was my data tracker too.
Here is where I'm an idiot and didn't forward deploy freaking Mary Problems, because I could have hacked him on his way in.
Sure.
And shot a couple pitchers out there knowing that his path of fire was coming. I didn't realize that till after the game either.
Yeah.
Idiot move.
So
Dumb kid.
I had the
Bad
civilian.
Deadpool.
Yeah, bad Deadpool.
I had the civilian back in my deployment zone. I had Achilles in cover. I was feeling pretty good and all set. We spent more time not doing a whole lot. I kept trying to adhesive launch the tag. I couldn't do that. I kept trying to. I couldn't pull Brando out to go take a civilian because
There's like a big fire lane in the middle of the table. This is the problem. So we were
on the
dancing
left
around.
on the flank that had your tag.
Yeah, so like
Huge
I had
open
all the
space.
firepower to where if he wanted to get to 3 of his civilians, he had to go through this courtyard of death. But it was also the same for me. So the only easy civilians for us were both like on my left, his right, which
On the
Achilles
far side.
came and grabbed it. Those are the only easy ones. So we had to dance around each other so much because there was like a courtyard of death, and I don't know how the angles worked that way, but it just worked that way to where to get through to any of these was through all, and both of us deployed knowing that was going to be a pain, and it caused us to basically spend 2 turns just trying to get around everybody.
And then your second turn was the camo token.
Yeah, my little Hoonzakoot who ran up, and didn't she get blasted by stupid koalas too?
It was more than that. No, it was a lot more than that. So you walked up this Hoonzakoot.
It was painful. Remind me
and-
about the Hoonzakoot.
So with the Hoonzakoot got up, I think by that point, most of the crazy koalas were out of the way. Or at least you didn't take any crazy koala damage. Because you were able to walk up and placed a deployable repeater.
Yes.
And then you spent an order of Mary Problems to try to hack, and you were too far.
Yep.
It was out by like 1 inch.
Yeah, and that's why. Oh.
And then I think you moved up a little bit closer and started shooting at Achilles.
But died.
you placed you moved up closer.
No,
and placed,
I placed one, and I was like, well, I'm going to place it and take a shot because I want to get rid of you because
Yeah.
I need to knock you off that civilian.
So I believe you placed 2, and then I think I used someone to shoot.
Yeah, no, she got smoked. That's why I said she basically ran up and sacrificed her life for the greater good.
But then I shot the antenna. that was right there.
Yes, because I failed the rolls on my second turn, then cleared out my path. Because basically at this point, Willett has one model over on the side, and we're we're at an impasse. So I was
in the middle,
basically
turn 2.
fighting for a tie at this point. So like on my turn 3, I know I only had my only option was to make a mad dash up the middle and try to shoot Achilles.
Before your turn 3, I spent the rest of that turn after shooting the deployable repeater, running someone, I think it was a Moran, to try to get up to a civilian, run back, and failed the whip check.
Yes.
So I only ended up with 1 at the end of my turn 3. And then so begins your turn 3 where you're like, if I can't have him, no one can.
Well, I was going to run up and grab it with the overdrawn because I was like, I have structure 3. I can take wounds. I had already taken out the Mark IV and any firepower, so I just had to deal with Achilles. And that's why I rolled up and realized that by the time I got to it, I would have to knock you off yours and then grab it so that I would have 1. But there was no way I could grab it and run back. So I had to, my priority was, we're either going to tie 0-0 or I'm going to knock you off your 1 and I'm going to grab yours and I'll get 1 point. So I just went up and started blasting at you, but I missed every time. But that's when I was like, oh, why was I shooting on 7s? It should have been 10s. Because I was, I was shooting at +3 range, -6. So I think I was shooting on 10s where it actually would have been 13. So I don't think you were in cover from where I was shooting you because I came around the side. And I remember going home and being like, oh my gosh, he was burnt.
But I think he dodged into cover. I mean, there was a lot of orders shooting at him.
Yeah, no, I spent
All of them.
the last 3.
Yeah.
That's all I had. I was like, the best case scenario was I had succeeded on my moving in shot, the shot moving up to the civilian and then shooting him. And if I took him out, then I could have luckily synced on my first try and then I would have won. But most likely case scenario, we tie. Worst case scenario, I can't hit him and cause 0 damage and I lose, which is what happened.
Yeah.
Because I shot 9 shots into him. And that was all the orders that I had left at that moment. And that was the only way I could have got up there with anything of significance that could have grabbed anything.
Yeah. And that was it. That was it.
Yeah, so I lost.
So Willett won 3-0, but not a lot of killing. 214 to 154.
No, he got.
Oh, I'm sorry. 3-0 is your tournament points.
Yeah, he got
5-0.
Yeah.
214 to 154. A lot of stuff
in his
still
deployment
left
zone
alive.
with his data tracker, so it was 5 points.
Yep.
So Sterling and I decided not to play Rescue because
Screw that mission.
Yeah, so we just played Annihilation.
You're a liar.
I mean, we still scored it as Rescue, but we didn't.
We just killed everything.
Nobody like.
Okay.
Neither one of us successfully synced with a civilian at all ever.
There was
that's
one.
funny.
There was one model that actually tried.
Wow. So you guys just
It
were
got
like, "F you,
vaporized."
I'm just gonna
Got
shoot.
nuked.
What was? I can't wait to hear the score. Go, tell him. You tell him, Tom.
Dude, should we just tell them the score to start or leave them in
We
suspense?
tied 1-1.
There we go.
No, we tied 0-0.
0-0,
1-1 again is tournament points. That's the second time in a row I did that. We tied 0-0. Sterling, I guess, won by virtue of 91 to 72 points remaining on the field.
Holy goodness.
I had 3 models, I think.
Oh, yeah, we didn't tell him our victory points
Tom did.
on ours.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah,
Oh, I missed it. I
It
see.
was like, just do a papa dope.
214 to 154.
There you go.
See, that's what I said.
Yeah, so we everything that tried to go do an objective just died.
Horribly too.
Yeah.
Like nothing had a good chance of making it to the other side.
No.
We had this weird debacle where a Rajik scattered right in front of everything. and then
Luckiest Rajik in the world.
proceeds to spin in place, firing a Spitfire, just killing people off.
Yeah, so I can't walk in from the side. I thought I could. And then we checked the angles and stuff. I was like, no, if he walks in there, he's going to be seen. So I can't walk in there. So I have to try and drop him behind this 8-inch building. It's like an objective room, but not as an objective room. I have to drop back here so that I can then walk out to the side of the building and start shooting these things in cover that are preventing any of my dudes from getting up to the civilians. So
not many of the Ermendinos survived the charge into the... we should explain. We both brought our kill lists for this one, didn't we?
No. I had to bring the same list I played for Highly Classified because it was the only one that had multi-terrain models.
Oh, I brought the one that was specifically tailored to beat Tom. With all the MSV and then things that just didn't care about smoke or camo.
I counted up points and I was like, I feel like there's only points left for Speculo. And then what was it instead of a Speculo?
It was a Sograt with APHMG.
Yeah, that's more points.
Yeah. It's about 20 more points.
He got killed 3 times?
3 times. He stood up, tried to fight an intruder, got put down, stood up again to try, got put down, stood up again, finally completely
auto
dead.
med kitting up.
Auto med kit.
Yeah. Well, because every time he goes unconscious, he's heavy infantry, right?
Yeah.
So even though he's huge, when he's unconscious, he's the size of his space.
He just goes down.
Behind a little wall on
He
top of the
predators
building.
it up. He's like,
I go unconscious during, my active turn, so he spends his active turn unable to kill it. And then I'm like, okay, I had a Kraka and Adarazi. So even though I was in loss of lieutenant, because the Rajik was able to kill my Ghulam and then an intruder killed the other 2, which those were all my lieutenant options.
We didn't finish the Rajik story where
we did.
So he's going to land behind this building. They can slice the pie and take out maybe 2-3 things, right? And he fails the drop roll, which is why I always like to walk in from the side, and scatters 16 inches northeast of where he wanted to be, which put him sort of behind all the models he wanted to kill, but right in front of and behind a Ghulam who was facing the wrong way.
Because I was an idiot and didn't put him prone.
And wasn't prone in his little balcony.
Yeah.
And then, but I did land in front of something that took a shot.
An Assay and the E-drone both could see you as you landed.
Yeah, and he lived. And so then I just started okay, I got to find cover. And split and burst and shooting all the things. And that's what you said, spinning around with the Spitfire.
There was a time where...
So I'm literally in the center of 5 models.
Yeah. There was a time where he took 1 dice against each guy.
Wow.
And still survived.
The dog had helped. Because I did take a wound along there.
From the Ghulam of all things. The Ghulam light shotgunned you and actually hit you.
So that Ghulam happened to be the lieutenant, though.
Yeah.
nice.
So that was not great. But yeah, so wacky.
It's fine. I wasn't trying to get across the table anyways. There was none of that was going on. We had Nisays getting shot by intruders and shooting back, and it was...
This was terrible. So intruders and Nisays pretty evenly matched ballistic skill, mimetism, or camo that we each ignore because we both have MSV2.
Yep.
So smoke doesn't matter. But 4 dice on an HMG.
Surprise shooting.
One, right?
Yeah.
And then 1 die coming back with the sniper rifle, and dead intruders left and right. Not fair. Just not fair. Managed to kill 1 of the 2 Nisei snipers.
Yep. And both intruders were dead by the end of the game.
Could never freaking kill that second sniper, which meant I could not go get a what do you call it? Rescuee.
Yeah, rescue
person. Civilian.
It did
Civilian,
mean that
right?
you're...
Rescuee person.
So I had this beautiful moment where I was like, I could possibly land the Krokman mine layer just outside of his deployment zone if I take the -3 roll. On a building where he can see everything hiding behind the building and can deploy a mine in the middle of all these 40mm camo tokens. Because there's an Ermendino standing in the middle of all of them.
Who's going to have to go first?
Yep. I roll a 10, which they're only physique 12, so that's a fail by 1. If it had been a chasseur, it would have landed perfectly.
Oh, man.
So I lose a mine. The Krokman has to fly back to my side of the board for deployment. Try again with the boarding shotgun Crocman, because figure I can still drop the template and tag, 2 or 3 of them. He fails on an 11, and so I have these 2 Crocmen just sitting far off on the side, doing nothing other than contributing just like the weirdest long-range shots.
But they were off on the side to where they could see most of the civilians horizontally.
Yep.
So if I approach a civilian, I'm getting these TO nerds shooting at me.
Excuse me, sir, but you can't see me. You're going to take a -6. Yeah, let's get him with our sniper rifles.
And they killed nothing. All game, they killed absolutely nothing.
Well, yeah, they needed their inhaler. Their glasses are getting all foggy. Oh, just a second, I
The
can't
antipodes jumped across the table to eat that. So
with an essay shooting down.
Well,
into
right.
them.
The Crocmen just happened to be in the way. Really, they were my last thing I had left that could try and kill that remaining Nisei sniper.
Yeah.
And so they go bouncing across the table, and they almost got there, but they had to deal with those Crocmen first. So they eat both of the Crocmen, but then we're all dead before I could jump up onto the building and eat the Nisei 6 inches away or whatever it was.
Yeah, the Zero went running across the table to grab somebody.
Well, because now it's late.
Yeah.
And I just got to get a civilian, and I win. So I'm super far away. It was the Krakot.
The Krakot
with the submachine gun?
Submachine gun at all the negatives.
I am 23 inches away from that guy. I'm thinking I might even be out of range. And so he went running up. He got discovered by something the first try. He's like, well, not
the same Nisei sniper.
I'm not a marker anymore. Here I go. I'm going to go get the civilian. Krakot's going to send machine gun. I don't have orders. I'm going to keep running. I'm not even going to dodge. I'm dead. I'm so dead. Wow.
Yeah, and then it turned into the weirdest turn 3 that either of us had ever really had. It was a Krakot. The Krakot was left. So was the E-drone. So was an Icadron and the Nisei. That's all I had left on the table. The only things Tom had left on the table were Joan prone on the second floor of a building.
Pro-Joan.
The Kumo-tailed bioengineer prone on top of a building with her palbot, who had been useless since the since the intruder first died.
Because he died. Double action. He died.
Yeah. Just straight to dead. Do not pass go. And the antipode controller was still alive.
With no antipodes.
I'm doing the math in my head because this is the end of my turn 2, I think, when I make this run with the Krakot. No, this is definitely my turn 3, yeah. So the Krakot starts running across the table, gets to the antipode controller, goes to kill her, and she dodges. And that was the last order I had on that turn, because I'd already moved the E-drone with some coordinated orders to at least secure the HVTs. Be within 8 of mine and be within 8 of his, and just pray that there wasn't something extra that I was missing. And then Joan stands up on your turn and proceeds to murder the Krakot.
Time to finally use her.
She stands up, comes down the stairway, and proceeds to
seeing the Krakot through the window as she heads to the ladder.
She's like, "Hey, alien scum."
Yeah, because he couldn't go out one side of the building because the Nisei was still covering that side of the building. He only had 3 orders and her lieutenant order to go do anything. So he just ran up right next to the HVTs and denied me from securing his HVT.
Nice.
Word.
Yep.
Word burger.
And we sat there for the longest time trying to figure out, was there any way one of us could win?
Yeah. Nope.
And because in order to shoot the E-drone, he was going to have to come away from the HVTs, and he'd have no way of getting back. And the only thing that would result in is maybe the E-drone crits. It could happen.
So we tied 0-0. 1 tournament point each. 91 to 72 remaining.
Nice.
So you win by 19 victory points, Sterling. So after 2 rounds, we have Tom with 4 tournament points, 10 objective points still, and 253 victory points. Willett moves into second place with 3 tournament points, 8 objective points and 314, while Sterling is in third because he also has 3 tournament points but only has 6 objective points, 251. And then Kip with his 0 tournament points, 3 objective points,
Hell yeah, dog.
and 208. So in round 3, it would be Tom versus Willett and Kip versus Sterling, both because we hadn't played each other yet and because that's the order that we had scored in. And for round 3, we roll the die.
Tag mission, right?
I really
And-
wanted it to be a tag mission. I even almost said, let's just force this.
I was hoping for direct action. I wanted to use my list called Murder. And we roll, and we got Hunting Party.
Yeah.
So now it's, okay, quick, go to all the lists, and it doesn't print out what everybody is. So go to all the lists and try to look up everybody's classification. Luckily, MayaNet puts it on their profiles. Much better tool than the official one. And so, figure out, okay, who do I got that can get an adhesive launcher? And, all right,
Which list doesn't have a ton of specialists?
right.
Yeah.
And so, so we go into round 3, and we start with Tom versus Willett. So I go through my lists and eschewing the classified, right? Like, decided that my best chance for the things that get you the most points, isolating people, getting adhesive launchers and whatnot, my list called Murder had 4 elites in it. And so this is going to be my best opportunity. Almost played the tag list. The other thing about my list called Murder has a ridiculous number. It has 22 orders, right?
Yes.
Now, 7 of those are extremely impetuous orders, right? But it's still 22 orders, which is a lot. It's a lot. And so this list has Joan of Arc as lieutenant, multi-rifle, of course. Antipode pack with handler. It has also in group 1 intruder with HMG, 1 Spetsnaz ambush camo with HMG, and then 2 Morlocks and an Ermendino.
Yeah.
And then the second combat group has the other intruder HMG. So now I've got 4 camo tokens in my deployment zone that are all like possibly covering fire. You don't know which ones are the intruders, which ones are the Spetsnaz. Then 4 Ghazi Muruia, because, yeah. And then the Rajik with Spitfire, who can come in and use all those regular orders because of Joan to do stuff. And then my reserve model, the Fide with mines. Could have saved point because I never used a mine. Basically, because you set up in a way that there was no good place for him to go. Right? You had 2 Quangshi on one side, you had 2 Quangshi way on the other side. There was not a bunched up group of stuff. Like Dr. Worm was on top of a roof all by himself, away from everything else. That would be impossible to get down from. So I'm like, okay, so the Fide is going to kill one thing, I guess.
Yes.
Or maybe I can use him to throw a smoke grenade for the intruder. Because he's already in their deployment zone, so it, really block his lines. I don't know. So basically, I used the Fide just to kill a couple of Quangshi.
Yep.
And then not damage Achilles at all.
Yep.
And then he just died.
So this was easily the hardest list to face, I think, because there's so many orders, so much camo, so much smoke. I feel like Tom zeroed in on 3 very strong strategies, and his list did those 3 things very well. I took the Achilles and his warriors list, and which was the same one I played against Kip, so I did not get to play the tag list, also known as Marut, the Mantle of Leadership. So that was kind of disappointing, but I just felt that the Achilles list had the proxies, and they all are elites, so they get adhesive launchers. Not that it mattered, but they had them. I came up with a pretty smart strategy, which was use Brando. I forward infiltrated him into this little balcony prone, And I think my strategy was to try to shoot at intruder who pops out during my turn. I was going second, I believe.
Yep.
I had a strategy that he might climb up and go kill the antipode controller or boarding shotgun some antipodes. I mean, there were like strategies here. So he was plopped
There were
into that.
there were a bunch of targets nearby.
Yeah, it was a target-rich environment. Not that it mattered.
So the Morlocks are extremely impetuous, right? Mm-hmm. And start running them where they have to go and throw in smoke. And then I realized, oh, wait. I never rolled for their booty.
Yeah.
And so...
Metachemistry.
And so...
This is the Ermendino you didn't roll for.
Right. Right. No, I rolled the metachemistry. I never rolled the Ermendino's booty.
Okay.
And so the Ermendino had gone impetuous, and then he had spent a couple orders to go up to a console and activate, because Ermendino is my only specialist. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So he goes up to one console and pushes the button, right? And he fails. So then he walks away from the console and pushes the button and fails. So he goes back to the console and pushes the button. Yay! And then he's like walking away from it because I got to swing, get him out of harm's way so he can swing around all the way to the other side of the board to do the other console, because once again, the Ermendino is my only specialist. Mm-hmm. So as I'm coming back away from the console on my right side, he is underneath the balcony where Brando is.
Yes.
And that's when I say, oh my gosh, I never rolled for his booty.
Yeah, and I said, what's he got? Grenades? And he's like, no, he's got booty.
And because I don't listen to people. And so I rolled on the booty level 1 chart, I rolled a 7. And I said, so he's got grenades.
And I'm just like, no, God, no.
Well, all of a sudden my plan is altered.
Right.
And so I'm going to spend an entire order on the Ermendino.
You use the antipodes first.
Oh, that's right.
Sensor.
So the antipode, So Brand's a camo marker right there near the antipodes.
Yeah.
Like thinking he can get rid of them.
I assumed that it wouldn't matter because he was prone inside this balcony that no one could get to.
Right. Mm-hmm. So the antipode, I spent an order on the antipodes. They censor, and 19s is
it's good.
Hard to fail.
easy.
Yeah.
3 of them.
So I censor and reveal Bran. So then the Ermendino spends an entire order speculating firing grenades less than 8 inches away. So he's +3 but -6, and he's a good physique of 14. So I need 11s.
I was like hitting on 11s. Ugh.
So I'm like, click, whoosh, dead Bran.
Yep. So there goes all those plans. So that was fun. Then
That worked out.
also during your first turn, you used your Ghazi to isolate one of my Morans, who was up in the middle, thus deactivating his crazy koalas.
Yeah, and the Moran was like, because you put the Moran inside of a building or on top of.
They're both. One was inside, one was on top.
But the one that got isolated, right? And then the koalas were behind him by an inch or two. Mm-hmm. And so as I approached, I got within 8 inches of the Moran without triggering either koala.
Yep.
Isolate the Moran with the jammer, which shuts off the koalas. It's like, well, that seems effective.
Yeah, exactly right.
Sucked.
The other Ghazi Mudawiya was not quite as effective and ran into a room. So here's the plan, right? It's a 5-point mutt. I'm going to run into the room. I'm going to see what the Moran does, right? And then probably just chain rifle him.
Yeah.
Depending on what arrow, right? So I'm going to run in, I'm going to chain rifle the Moran, and then I'm just going to eat those crazy koalas, but at least I get him out of the way.
Well.
So he goes into the building, he eats the crazy koalas, the Moran survives the... Didn't you survive the chain rifle shot? So yeah, the 5-point mutt got vaporized, but I dealt with those koalas.
Exactly. Hey, I think that's
worth
a win.
it. I'd pay 5 points to not deal with koalas every game.
That is a win in my book.
So I took away the board control aspect for the middle of the field.
Yeah. Then you used your Fide.
Yeah, he was.
This was an interesting building. So we have this building that is a garage.
Micro Studio Garage.
And I believe you were inside that building. And I'm like, haha, idiot.
I like to call it a garage.
I think there's like one door on that building. What are you going to do? You're going to walk around the far side of that building to that door. You're going to walk all the way around and tangle with Achilles? No. The wall.
I just gave Tom the signal. I'm like, dude, the whole front
The whole front comes out.
Yeah. The whole wall that I thought
Wait, on
was a
this
wall
table,
was a door. And I didn't even know that. So thanks a lot, Micro Art Studios.
Like, dude, it's a garage. You just click the lock and you push it up.
Yeah.
So Fide used the automatic garage door opener. And then boarding shotgunned a couple of Kwang Shi and died.
Yeah. They chain
Quaxi, you're there,
they chain rifled him.
Child rifle?
Yeah, child rifle.
Just shoots babies.
Pew, 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 wee, wee.
Angry 2-year-old.
And they died. So it was like a trade. So
Like, what is that noise? What is happening to the roof?
Achilles.
What is it moving?
Meanwhile,
There's just I had no good plan for the Fide.
Yeah.
The way you had spread everything out. I'm like, well, I mean, I could try and kill Achilles. That's not going to go well.
No.
and I think that Achilles was standing there like, "Hey, bros, you okay back there?"
He did have his back to the Fide.
Yeah, nothing.
Oh, man, that's funny.
The other thing was you had mentioned Dr. Worm being prone in a building, on top of a building. Well, on that building, I placed the Proxy Mark IV with rocket launchers.
Oh, no. This is so bad.
The Proxy Mark V was prone in a forward building, and I think my goal was eventually come down when I'd cleared everything.
Right.
A lot of good that did me. And then
Right, you wanted to kill all this stuff and then climb him out of the building to go push buttons.
yeah, and then I had another one, the Mark II, who had a multi-sniper, and TO. He was hidden over on the other side that Achilles was not on.
Right.
So, on my left.
He was where the Ermendino went to go push the console.
Correct.
But because the Ermendino had thrown smoke,
Yes.
you never revealed it to shoot him because you have TO, but you don't have a visor.
Correct.
So I was safe from that. So the Proxy Mark, the rocket launcher.
Yeah.
What did I use? Intruder?
Yes.
Surprise shot?
Yeah.
And you went unconscious, right? 2 wounds?
Yeah.
So unconscious, but Dr. Worm's back there prone.
Correct.
Okay.
And so the Obsidian Medcanoid on Willett's turn rolls up to touch the proxy, and I'm like, because I didn't vaporize it, I just made it unconscious. The 2 wound one, it's not the no wounding
Yeah,
gap,
correct.
right? So it's got 2 wounds, it's sitting there unconscious. Dr. Worm rolls up, I'm like, oh, it's a 14. He's bringing that stupid thing back, because he's armor 8
Yeah.
in cover.
Yeah.
And Dr. Worm rolled like a 19.
Yep.
And so then we look at the army list, and hey, proxies don't have cubes.
Yep.
So
Nope.
no rerolls.
Correct. Whomp whomp. So next
did not
time
know
someone
that.
tries telling you proxies are so OP, you just remind them they don't have cubes.
Yeah, just no wounded cap and a bunch of other stuff.
Yeah, but no
Pretty
cubes,
blue
though.
lights, yeah, I know. It's like, come on, man. Get over it.
Now, is Ryder...
So it was the jammering of the Moran was bad, shutting down the koalas.
Oh, you just said jammering the Moran. Oh, jam, Moran. Oh, jam,
down,
Moran.
down, Kip, bad. Psst, psst, psst.
I almost thought we were going to make it through this whole thing without
And-
that.
So that was bad. And then getting grenades and lobbing one onto Bran really efficiently, that was bad.
Yeah.
And then killing the proxy and then making it unconscious and then doing the honors.
Yes, that's
of killing
disheartening.
it. So it was kind of the whole game went that way.
So it's right around this time that my dice got very confused, like in Pokemon, when a Pokemon becomes confused and it hurts itself in its confusion. My dice kept hurting themselves in confusion. So it's like, okay, time to shoot this thing. 20s, 19s, 18s. All right, time to make an armor save. 1, 2, 3. Are you kidding me? 6. What is wrong with you? 10. Come on! It was backwards the entire time. Rolling high for shooting, low for armors. Then begins kind of like my great fall from grace, my hubris. I decide it's time for Achilles to come do what Achilles does and just smashify everyone's face, right? I had this whole plan where Achilles was going to run to this building. He's going to run up to this door, and he's going to be in cover. He's going to shoot that intruder. He's going to shoot that other intruder. He's going to go suppressive, and he's just going to poop all over Tom's parade. And as I come up into this building, Tom goes, this Matawia here, he's going to jam. And I said, what?
Was it your second move?
No, I
did you get
reset.
to- you got
I did
to reset?
So I reset.
Oh, God.
Fail. And I said, it's okay, Achilles. You've got this.
BTS 6, right?
BTS 6. Come on.
Just
roll
need
up
to-
1. Come on, Achilles.
So we've got an
Why?
isolated Achilles. He's going to be in Lost Lieutenant next
And
turn.
Dr. Worm is all the way up on a roof somewhere.
Correct. And no
With
checks
no-
at buddy or anything.
Yeah, and
Sounds like
you're,
Dr. Worm is going to jump.
you're inside of a building with the doors closed and no. Yeah, so you're not even getting the ARO.
Nope.
Just there, kind of blind, stuck in the middle, not doing 75 points of doing nothing, sitting in there.
Can't move. I can't move. I can't move.
You just couldn't do anything.
I mean, that's a solid 5-point model.
yeah.
I don't know if our listeners are familiar with the Gazimudawea, but you
They
should
are.
check them out because they're
Yeah.
pretty solid. They might be a little expensive at 5 points, but
I mean, and Hawk, for sure. They're super expensive at 5 points.
So yeah, that's very disappointing, and it was really a very frustrating game. I think you used an intruder to you adhesived my forward observer.
oh yeah, let's keep that in mind. It's hunting party, right?
Yeah.
So you think about the glue guns, but isolation is good enough.
Yes.
So when
it
that
is.
mutt jammed Achilles, he was the lieutenant. Now
Oh,
I've
no. That's
And I was in the
3 points.
I was
right there.
in its zone by like half an inch, and if I had thought a little harder, I could have walked along the edge of the building. But I didn't even think about it. I was just like, "Haha, I've got this." Ha 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 ha. Nope. As Achilles gleefully skips his way through the battle.
see you
horrible.
shouldn't skip during a battle because you might rupture your Achilles heel.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. Then I think I ended up like you kept on adhesiving my specialists, the forward observer. I ended up finally. I had wands that couldn't do anything. They were just
They got punked by another mutt.
they were just garbage. And then I eventually,
mutt Yan standoff.
I think at one point, I lost my lieutenant once. Because I made it the Danavas hacker, and I was going to go after your Armandino. She went down. Then I made
Yeah, she kind of walked out in the middle. I mean, you didn't have much choice, but she
No.
walked out in the middle of nowhere with no cover and just took a intruder bullet.
yes, and I believe it was my very last. That was my turn 2. So I lost Achilles turn 1. Jesus. So turn 3, I think I had. I spent all my command tokens to make people regular, so that my new lieutenant, the Celestial Guard, could finally shoot the Armandino. I took him down.
You did, yeah. So, yeah, because during my turn, he finally makes it over to the other console,
Yeah.
right? So I can get the other console. And I think it was like the final order of my pool.
Yeah.
And he rolled like a 16 or something stupid.
Yeah.
So he failed to activate the console. So he's just like sitting at the console,
Just waiting for something
failed
bad
to push the
happen.
button.
Yeah.
It's like, well, and then, yeah.
So then it was my
Came over
that was
and
my turn
murdered him.
2 when the Danavas tried to go after him and died.
Yeah.
And then the Celestial Guard did it using his irregular order. Then it was turn 3 that you ran your guys up to seize the HVT. So you had one.
Well, I brought the Rajik on from the side of the board.
So you had a Rajik on one side, and who went in suppressive, and you had a Morlock on the other side.
Right, and so I had 2 things securing the HVT, right? Because I couldn't. I drew a like data scan or something.
Yeah.
I drew classified. I couldn't do, so I have to secure the HVT. So I put 2 things by it,
Yeah.
thinking he doesn't have enough orders to kill them both. Certainly, right?
Correct. Now, listeners, close your eyes for a moment, unless you're driving. So there's a square building, which now has an adhesived FO on it, which also has my HVT nearby. And so he had walked a Morlock on the north side, and the Rajik was on the eastern side. Okay? So my Celestial Guard could see the Morlock, not the Rajik. She's now lieutenant. So I spend her order shooting at the Morlock and then shooting at the Morlock again, right? With a combi rifle. I believe you dodged, and then I think I did kill that one.
No, the Morlock was the one that survived.
Okay, good. Then, meanwhile, I have Dr. Wern, who is prone. He ends up standing up, and the only one he can see is the Rajik.
Yes,
So he was able to kill the Rajik.
Rajik got totally punked by Dr. Worm.
Yeah, but I didn't have enough.
Rajik and suppression fire.
Yeah. I only had the 2
So
orders. See, Dr. War is really good at shooting, just not good at saving people's lives, apparently. So I only had the 2 orders to spend on the Celestial Guard. I had no more command tokens. I had no more regular orders. And so, unfortunately, you were able to seize my HVT with that 1 Morlock I could not kill.
Yeah.
Yep. And that was our game, and it was just very depressing.
So final score was 9-0.
Yep.
And because Ermendino not being able to roll his whip of 13 3 times during that game.
Yeah.
And so 9-0. I had 203 remaining. You had 109.
Because Achilles never died.
Because Achilles was just isolated.
That's why I never went into retreat. I was always in Lost Lieutenant. I was in Lost Lieutenant all 3 rounds because I lost Achilles, I lost Danavis Hacker, my next lieutenant, and then I lost the Celestial Guard. You know, that's actually pretty impressive. It's hard to suck that bad. So I feel pretty good about that.
You got all the tries that I did the first 2 games just happened to you on the last 2 rounds.
Yeah, it's just all doubled up on me. All my bad karma caught up.
Epic draft battles of history. Kip versus Sterling.
All right, Sterling.
Screw you and your Caronted and everything that thing stands for, and that's as a combined player. Like that was. So if you can't guess how this game went, Kip got to go first.
Yeah, I gotta go first. I crit my roll.
Yeah, you crit your roll on a 16,
Yes.
and I, like an idiot,
That Pulpy dice on 16 is amazing.
I completely started making jokes that it was the Caronted lieutenant list, and oh crap, what am I gonna do? And then as I'm deploying, he's like, "Don't forget, you don't get a reserve model." I was like, "That's right." Oh crap! So I had to go up against Saladin.
So Caronted was not your lieutenant.
No, he was
Caronted
not.
was not the lieutenant. Trust me, like the gears got stuck in my head for a second. I was like, wait, what else did he have? So I ended up playing my murder, death, kill list again because it's only got 1 specialist, but he's the E-drone. So he's he's fast. He's 6'4", multi-terrain. He can go do things. Sure. It didn't matter, but he could try. And then Kip, what list did you bring?
So I stuck with my guns, especially after making the gentleman agreement with Willett, second game of not playing the same list, and I was an advocate for 3, so I was going to play all 3 of my lists no matter what. At this point, I have nothing to lose because I am on the bottom of the rung. So I'm like, F it. I made these 3 lists. I'm going to play my Caronted list now.
Yep.
Which it's hunting party. I have 0 models with adhesive launchers and 0 models that are veteran or elite. So I'm like, sweet. Let's play denial.
Yep, because I was sitting there with 1 specialist and 3 models with glue guns. You were sitting there with
4 specialists.
4 specialists and 0 models with glue guns.
So I had Merry Problems. I had a camo token, which was a Hunzakut. I had an Interventor, and then that's the only specialist I had on the table until I dropped the Meteors on, which was then my 4th specialist. The rest of the things that rounded out was of course, Total Reaction HMG. I had the McCall, which I thought that I put in a good enough spot to run to my left until Sterling deployed because I had to deploy first, and I kept the again Peacemaker and the Caronted. Peacemaker I always keep in, but Peacemaker Caronted I kept in reserve, but I put that McCall right by Merry Problems because if I have to run in that building, I can smoke her out. Because my whole thing here is you get 4 points for getting a lieutenant isolated, right? Yeah. The only thing that I have that can isolate this guy, because you have a Gulam lieutenant, is Merry Problems with a zapper who has to climb. So I need the McCall to run and throw a clip smoke grenade up there so she can run up, climb up, and intuitive attack with a zapper again and again and again until
clearing everything out.
So that's how I set up. But then Sterling, being awesome, had set up to where when my Impetuous sort of came out, I ran away from my said targets.
That Krakow is amazing.
All the way over to the other side. But yeah, rounded out with, I was playing another 10 order list. I had the Interventor.
I think 22 is better.
What do you mean 22?
22 orders.
22
yeah, Tom, it's pretty good.
Limited insertion. So like the main portion of it is just a little bit of hacking help from the interventor, and then buffing up that bot and letting the Quran go. And then for the unexpected drop in of the meteors on was like how this whole thing worked out. But
yeah, it was I think the only things I killed during that whole game was that McCall, because he came screaming out from around that building. Failed his smoke on like a 20.
Yeah, I rolled like a 20 on my smoke.
And I have a Sogarat that can see him. I have an Assay that can see him. The Krakot sees him. Everything just murders him.
Oh, he was dead. Yeah. Like, he ran out, and then they were like, hey, where'd the McCall go? And there was like this mist. It's like, hey, who's smoking? Who's smoking red cigarettes? It was just, he was gone.
Then the next...
took like
Does it smell like somebody cooked
The
some
Marlboro Man.
Did somebody cook some artichokes?
The very next order you spent was on your Innoventer with Hack and Device Plus to put marksmanship up on your TR bot.
Yes.
And out of nowhere, what did I have?
Yeah, so I was like, you know what? I got to do this because I know I'm going to forget, because that's how I am. I like to forget things. So I'm like, I'm going to put marksmanship on this guy. And Sterling's like, are you sure you want to do that? And I'm like, yes, and it's a full order skill. So he's like, I'm going to reveal a croc man with combi rifle who can see your interventor, who's halfway up the table.
With a boarding shotgun,
With a boarding shotgun.
Yeah.
So I was like, thank goodness I'm in zero range.
Boarding shotgun, X-Visor.
But I'm just with my repeater in the wind, just hanging out in the wind.
Yeah.
My fast pandas all the way out.
And I miss on a 13.
Thank goodness. Yeah, I puckered up a little bit on that one. Like,
Yeah, I had deployed expecting a Karantid until he reminded me that I actually had Saladin, but I was like, okay, this still works fine. I've got an Evo hacker. All my Icadrons are burst 2 with stun pistols or flamethrowers or flash pulses. So all in all, they're going to be okay.
yeah.
And then I threw my Crocmen like in different places around the board to be just little landmines.
Totally
for
got me with them,
something
too.
showing up. Yeah, I
Totally got
surprised you each time, but
Every
it didn't
single
help
time.
them. It never helped them.
Yeah, so he pops that, and I'm like, okay, so I have to deal with that. I had placed my Peacemaker to where I could run up, because Sterling did a really good job of counter-deploying the majority of his models to one side, and then his lieutenant and the two other Gulams
Little Gulam
all
bunker.
the way over on the other side. So it's like, do you go after those guys or the majority of his army? So I have the Peacemaker there to just run up, and it's like, let's just flamethrower and shotgun everything, because I could probably get about 4 models on the first strike, hopefully take out a couple.
Yeah.
I think I only took out 1.
You were able to tag a Datarazi, a Krakot, a Sogarat, and an Icadron with your flamethrowers and heavy shotguns off the Peacemaker. I just had the Icadron double light flamethrower, the Peacemaker, and everything else dodged. And everything else passed its dodge. And the heavy shotguns failed to hit anything.
Yep.
And then the Icadron goes down to the fire.
Yeah.
From
So I
the
was
little
like,
Oxbot.
I'm like,
But-
great, this is how my day is going to go. Just like my other games, he's going to pass everything, so I only killed 1. Now I have no board control.
That was the second and only other model I managed to kill all day. So,
Because then I was like, you know what? F this, dog. Karantid, go.
yeah.
So I just moved the Karantid, like, to my right, because I'm like, I'm just going to I need to take out all of your Nasees. I need to take out your Sogarat. I need to get rid of as many Impetuous as you can so you can't run up on me. And then I should have you a little bit crippled to where I can try to put your E-drone in unconscious state so that I can freaking isolate it. Because at this point, I'm fighting for my 2 classifieds. And because my McCall is a mist of... He's not even a remembrance. He's not a memory at this point. So I was like, I can't get that lieutenant. It'll be highly unlikely. So I'm fighting for my 2 points for 1 each on classified, the 2 points for the panoplies, and then isolating more specialists, which was another 2 points. That's 6 points. So that's max I can get in this, because I can't isolate anything else. So Karana goes and takes out the Krakot, takes out... Well, the Icadron's already down, moves over, wipes out the Croc Man, moves over again, takes out the Nisei.
And then starts walking up, and we realize that there's a boulder on the
Yeah.
side of the board. that the Karantid cannot get around.
Yeah, so I start walking up, and I'm like, so I can't fit through there, so I'm going to start walking back, and where I start to go where I started, and ended up taking the Sogarat.
Sogarat went
down, and you're like, well, he has an auto med kit, so it's like 4 more shots into the Sogarat.
Yeah, as you walk away.
As I walk away. Couldn't hit the Dotarazi. The Dotarazi got away, but pretty much Karantid cleaned out that entire flank.
Yeah,
on my
and
first
then
turn.
he killed the last Crocman when he came back from the boulder because he came around to try and discover the camo token I'd left out in the middle of the
that was my
table.
favorite part. Tell that story, Sterling.
So-
tell that story.
He was before you interrupted him.
Try and Kip, God. So after Mr. Karantid Murder came back from his, vacation abroad, he sees this camo token that's sitting, fairly close to Kip's camo token, and also if Mary Problems ever came out of the building, the camo token would see him. So he comes around the corner, and I'm like, okay, I'm now just stalling for time. I just need to slow the Karantid down so it can't get to the middle of the board and start opening up lanes for Mary Problems to run. So I reveal the Crocman Mine Layer, who proceeds to get murdered. Kip then spends another order.
No, it was before
Oh,
that.
it was before that, yeah.
because I was like,
Discovered
I'm going to
first,
move,
yeah.
and you're like,
You move.
that's going to idle. I'm like, dude, I have MSP3.
Camo token does nothing.
I'm
Camo
like, I have
token does
MSP3. You don't want to shoot me? You're like, I'm going to do nothing. I'm like, well, I'm going to auto reveal. Kip, it's a mine. I'm like, oh, I'm an idiot. So that means there's something really close to that.
And the next one was the Crocman popping up.
Yeah. So
I think the Crocman was the only thing that actually hurt the Karantid.
you put a wound on him.
I put a wound on him
Yeah.
with that. And then it came over to my turn, and I had 2 hacking classifieds. And they were both, scan the enemy HVT at a -3. Okay. And then scan an enemy model. Mm-hmm. The little Oxbot buddy was just outside of the hacking range of the E-drone.
Yeah.
But the Karantid could see down that same alleyway where all my corpses were. And
Yeah.
so I have to come up with a really cheeky way of somehow getting an E-drone across a fire lane with the Karantid watching it.
MSP3, so you can't throw smoke.
Yeah, so but your TR bot was still alive.
And could
So it's
still
like-
see the same spot.
Yeah, the exact same spot. There was this insanely long fire lane that they were just both posted up on. So I canceled the Darazi's Impetuous Order because I don't want him running around the corner and getting murdered before I can actually use him for things. So I cancel that. I then coordinate. The first coordinate order is for the E-drone to move just shy of where everyone can see him, the Datarazzi to move, Datarazzi throw smoke. Next coordinated order, Datarazzi moves again, E-drone runs across the opening as the Datarazzi gets just shy of where the Karantid can see him. So you change face to see where the Datarazzi is going to be.
Yeah,
coming
because I was
from.
like, he's going to close combat me. This is going to...
Instead of shooting the E-drone, which is what I needed. But then I got greedy because I was like, I've got it now. I can do this. I proceed to run the Datarazzi after the Karantid. I martial arts level 4 him. I get 1 crit through, but I'm not the double action guy. I'm just AP, so he's no wounding cap. He saves the other armor. And he had nanopulsered me, so the Datarazzi dies.
Yeah, it should have nanopulsed the first time. He came around the corner. I was like, heavy pistol, shock. Wait, one of my classifieds is coup de grace. Why would I ever do that? Thank goodness I missed.
Yeah.
Because I was like, why didn't I nanopulser? You were in 6 inches. So as he ran in, I was like, nanopulser. So I got lucky as hell that I missed that heavy pistol shot, and did take the AP shot, but then nanopulse and he failed, and I was like, sweet, save my coup de grace there, buddy.
Yeah, and that was the end of my turn. Was that the Datarazzi murder run trying to stop it because he was your Karantid was the only model not in your deployment zone besides that one Hunzaku.
Yeah.
Did nothing all game.
Yeah, which was my fault. What an idiot on turn 2.
Yeah. So yeah, that was the end of my turn 2 at that point. Yeah, because we were sitting there. The E-drone hadn't done any of the classifieds, but he's right there. Like he can scan the little Oxbot, and then if he has one more order, he could have moved and scanned the HVT, and then we would be tied up on classifieds.
Yeah, so I mean, it was one because this is where I screwed up really bad.
Yeah.
So we're sitting there like that, and I got my interventor over there who survived this. Holy crap, what was that? Like, it was in my mind, I see interventors like, hack! And all of a sudden, like 4 inches in front of his eye, the rock explodes, and he goes, and all of a sudden the Chironid comes behind him and goes, stupid human, and then walks away. it's like what I'm thinking of my mind.
Sound of machine guns
He's
and
like,
screaming.
What was that? He's like, it's called Tio Camo. Come on, you're nomads. You know this. And my Corrupted speaks like Ivan Drago.
Yeah.
So I will break you. So having the interventor still there, I was like, I need to data scan and I need to coup de grace. So, like, I scuttlebutt over to where I'm in range of the Dodarazi, and I'm like, I'm going to attempt to hack why you have reverse engineered our Sepsitor technology, and there are Dodarazi fighting against my Sepsitored army is what I like my theme was, you know?
Yeah.
So I data scanned, and then the Chironid was like, I must take your cube. And then he took his cube. That was my coup de grace. So that was like my cinematic view of my classifieds. Was like,
That's nice.
why are they fighting us this way?
And you had spat out a fast panda as you were running up to do that too.
Yes, I did.
Which would frustrate me on my next turn.
Yeah. So I shot the fast panda out because once I do the classifieds, it's like, okay, I have 2 points. I need to get the other 2 points to get my 4, and then I need to start hitting panoplies. Notice how I keep talking about hitting these panoplies because that's the last time I thought about them the entire game. So spat the fast panda out so I could try to isolate with Mary problems through the fast panda. Did it. I attempted twice, and Sterling passed both BTS rolls, and I'm like, I just can't hack this little 3-round tournament we're doing. Like, I can't do it. So drop the meteors on now.
Yep.
Because I dropped it, and I'm like, I'm just going to shoot this thing. That way I can just freaking do this. I can just go and isolate it. Either run over there, or I just hit him for free so that he can't beat me on my whip roll. Would still get a BTS roll at that point, though.
Yeah.
But at least I'm not... if I pass, it goes through, because I think you had beat me once, and then it was just... I couldn't make any hack rolls.
You couldn't risk it happening again.
So I was like, So I drop him. Pat, pat. Can't hit it. Dang it. Because I had moved away. So I moved over, shot it again. Couldn't hit it. So now I'm sitting there like, damn, because I'm out of orders. And it goes to Sterling's turn. And he counts up his orders.
And then I start counting up models. Because the one thing that Kip had killed with the meteors on was not the thing he originally intended.
Yeah, because I shot and then moved. And then I shot a Gulam and moved back to go to shoot again.
Yep. And what did killing that Gulam do, Kip?
Yeah, because this was my turn too.
Yeah.
So his turn 2 starts. He's like, I'm exactly in retreat.
I am at 85 points because I brought baggage.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Was
With 2 Gulams, an Imatron who had done nothing, had never been an issue with the game at all, 1 Icadron remaining, standing in the middle of the board with no one around him for miles, and the Edron. Yeah, we're sitting there, and it's like, okay, can I literally get anything done? Because if I activate at all, Mary problems will hack out.
And out of command tokens, so you couldn't cancel any states. Yep. Couldn't change the irregulars to regular. So
I could do absolutely nothing.
We were at an impasse.
Yep. So I passed my turn, and he won 2-0.
And I was like, why did I not just go after Panoplies? Why did I go after that Gulam?
2-0 with a victory points of 267 to 85.
Yep.
Yeah, I didn't lose it a lot.
So
the McCall, the Peacemaker, and that was really it, I think.
So final standings in 4th place with 2 tournament points, 5 objective points, and 475 the highest
victory points.
Is Kip Parcell.
Nice.
And in third place with 3 tournament points, 6 objective points, and 336 remaining, the lowest victory point total, Sterling Rutherford.
Oh my God, he's so hot.
Also with 3 tournament points, but with 8 objective points. In second place is Willett.
Huzzah!
423 remaining. And then I had 7 tournament points, 19 objective points, and 456 remaining. Woo! To win the Super Bowl.
Go,
Yay.
Joan.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was what everybody predicted that was Tom was going to smoke us.
Yeah. But I feel very good with second place because I was so nervous going into all of this because I'm like, Sterling is so good when it comes to like knowing what's good, knowing what things do. He can look at a unit and just be like, this is its thing. And this is how it works. And I look at it like a monkey looks at a power drill, and I'm just like, roll the dice. And that's how I feel.
It's really entertaining to watch a monkey with a power drill.
Yeah. And then, Kip is really good, and Tom, of course, cheated. So I feel really solid having second place. That feels nice.
So I think it bears pointing out because there was something that none of us realized until it got pointed out to us by a third party who had just messaged in on one of the chats. I think it was on like MayaCast forum or something. That Tom totally Jedi mind tricked us during the draft.
Oh.
Because there is a second vanilla available profile with inspiring leadership.
Joan Mobility Armor.
Yep, Joan 2.0. Yes!
And he said that there wasn't, and I couldn't think that she did. So I agreed, and none of us ever took her.
And I trust you because I trust everything you say.
I know, right? I am not infallible. I am but a man.
Yeah.
Wow. My whole worldview is shattered.
I mean, come on. I got speculo points wrong when we were still drafting. I was off by 1.
Nobody's perfect.
I know.
So if we were to do it again, I think that we would still draft our players, draft our units, prior to knowing any of the missions. But then before list building, we would select the 3 missions that we're going to play. Not know them before the draft, because you still want to build a roster that is
semi-balanced.
Sure, yeah. And but then select the missions like you would for a normal tournament, so you can build your list to those missions. We could also then choose missions that we like.
Yeah.
But I think the random roll is still important because you may do your draft thinking, I'm going to lobby hard for firefight, and I'm going to take all these things that are good at firefight. Right?
I'm going to take all the AD troopers.
So
that's why I liked initially that we were going to do
but we could have done the rolls first and then built missions to that. I still would have taken all the mutts all the time.
Yeah.
But
let's face it, we all made like 7 or 8 lists trying to find something that could do all the missions well.
No, I mean, I would have liked to select before we made lists. Because we literally rolled all of the shitty ones.
Everyone had
and there's the expletive.
All of us had a tag list, but we were all sitting there like, man, I really hope we don't play the tag mission.
Yeah. I mean,
we could have just skipped that whole train of thought.
Yeah.
And not even thinking, so like on my dumbass part, like I never even thought to pay attention to veteran or elites, and that like totally screwed me.
Yeah.
And then not even paying attention. Not even paying attention to like the fact that we're probably going to take rescue, and like maybe you should put more than 2 multi-terrain models on the list.
Yeah.
So
I was not ready for rescue. That's for sure.
I wasn't ready for
none
any
of my
of
lists
these
could have
missions.
done.
We tied 0-0. Clearly, we were not.
Nope.
But
I was not prepared for any of them.
so this is the thing that Tom had mentioned earlier to me about the reason why we rolled the dice was because even like you draft your team and you think you've got like an A+ team and it's so amazing, but on any given Sunday, a player can play a certain way he does. They can get injured.
Get hurt. Yeah.
They don't throw ball so good.
There's Willett with the sports movie reference. Great movie. If you haven't seen any given Sunday, you should go see it. I think this is totally scalable to 12 players. I think it's totally scalable to have 2 divisions of 12 players each, where you all draft from the complete list. And then you could run a league side by side where everybody plays each other once, plays each other twice, however long you want to make it go. And then you have, you get your your top seeds who can do a tournament, and then the winner of each bracket of each side then plays for a Super Bowl type of thing. And then, because we are out of time here, the last thought experiment that we were chatting about off air was, so we picked the 72, like we picked 72 units between the four of us. What would the bottom 72, what would be the last 72 on the board, Infinity units, what would they be? So that's something you all can think about till next time when Kip and I will be back, and we have a lot to talk about. There's a new ITS season. There are 2 new sectorials out there, and so
Shazvasti's getting a new model.
Sorta. Yeah.
Sorta.
Aida Swanson. So yeah, we'll be back with all of the new stuff next week. But until then, thank you so much for listening. We hope you enjoyed this 3-part series. And until next time, get out there and support your local game stores.
To find out how you can support the show, go to patreon.com/MayaCast.
You can find us online at www.mayacast.com.
We are on Facebook at facebook.com/InfinityMayaCast.
Follow at Maya Podcast on Twitter.
Join the MayaCast forum group on Facebook.
And as always, you can email us at tom@mayacast.com.
And Kip at MayaCast.com.